The vast command center of the Drachnid Empire's scout ship hummed with its usual activity. Screens flickered with data from thousands of star systems, most showing nothing more than empty space or lifeless rocks. Junior analyst Telma slouched in his chair, his four eyes heavy with boredom after 12 hours of watching endless streams of data. "Another primitive world," he muttered, taking a sip of his warm stimulant drink. "Just like the last 100 we've seen." The planet on his screen was mostly blue, with green and brown landmasses scattered across its surface. White clouds swirled in its atmosphere, and a single moon orbited around it. According to the scanner, the dominant species had built cities, launched satellites, and was using primitive combustion engines for transportation. Telna was about to mark it as another potential conquest when something caught his attention. He straightened in his chair, all four eyes now wide open. "That can't be right," he whispered, double-checking the readings. "Captain, you need to see this." Captain Vorac, a tall, gray-skinned veteran of countless exploration missions, walked over to Telna's station. "What is it, analyst?" "Another primitive world for our collection." "Yes, sir, but—" Telna pointed to the development timeline on his screen. "Look at their progress rate." The captain leaned forward, his ridge-covered forehead wrinkling in confusion. "Run the numbers again. This must be an error." But it wasn't an error. The natives of this planet, humans, they called themselves, had gone from discovering electricity to splitting the atom in less than 200 years. Most species took thousands of years to make such progress. Even more shocking, they had achieved powered flight and then reached their moon within a single lifetime. "Their technology is still primitive compared to ours," Telna explained, "but the speed at which they're advancing—" He shook his head in disbelief. "It's not normal, sir." Captain Vorac watched the data scroll across the screen. These humans were still fighting each other with chemical weapons and projectile guns. They were polluting their planet with fossil fuels. Their space exploration was limited to their own solar system. By all normal measures, they should be an easy conquest for the Empire. But something didn't feel right. "Show me their weapons development," the captain ordered. Telna pulled up the information. The results were disturbing. In just 6 years, humans had gone from discovering nuclear fission to creating the most powerful bombs their planet had ever seen. Their early computers had filled entire rooms, but now, just decades later, they carried devices more powerful than those first computers in their pockets. "Sir," Telna said quietly, "should I mark them as a standard conquest target?" Captain Vorac stared at the blue planet on the screen. After 40 years of exploring space for the Empire, he had learned to trust his instincts. And right now, his instincts were screaming that this planet was different. "No," he said finally. "Mark this as a special case. I want a full analysis team assigned to study them. Something about these humans." He paused, searching for the right words. "They're advancing too fast. We need to understand why." As Telna began preparing his report, neither he nor the captain could have known that this simple discovery would change the course of the mighty Drachnid Empire forever. The blue planet, which its inhabitants called Earth, was about to teach them a lesson about underestimating a younger species. But that lesson was still to come. For now, Earth remained unaware that alien eyes were watching, analyzing, and growing increasingly concerned about what they saw. 3 months after Earth's discovery, the Drachnid Empire's most prestigious research facility buzzed with activity. In a large circular room filled with holographic displays, 12 of the Empire's top xenanthropologists gathered around a central table. Their assignment: understand how humans had achieved so much in so little time. Dr. Kelvith, the lead researcher, stood before his colleagues, his normally neat fur ruffled from days without rest. "What we found about humans is troubling," he said, bringing up images of Earth's history on the main screen. "Look at this," he pointed to a timeline. In 1903, they achieved their first powered flight, a primitive thing that stayed in the air for just seconds. The screen showed an old black and white image of the Wright brothers' plane. But here, He swiped to another image. By 1969, they were walking on their moon. One of the younger researchers raised her hand. Perhaps they received help from another species. We considered that, Dr. Kelvith replied, shaking his head. But all evidence suggests they did this entirely on their own. And that's not even the most concerning part. He pulled up new images, weapons, vehicles, and tools from human history. Humans have a unique pattern. Every peaceful invention they create eventually becomes a weapon. But then, and this is the strange part, they often turn these weapons back into tools for progress. The room fell silent as examples filled the screens. Rockets designed to carry bombs became vessels for space exploration. Nuclear weapons led to nuclear power plants. Military satellites became tools for global communication. But surely they must have periods of slow progress, like all species. Another researcher asked. Dr. Kelvith laughed nervously. That's the most fascinating part. Look at their response to crisis. He displayed graphs showing human technological advancement during their world wars. When faced with extreme pressure, humans don't slow down. They speed up. Their greatest technological leaps often happen during their most challenging times. He brought up more recent data. In just the last 50 years, they've created a global information network, begun understanding quantum mechanics, and are now working on artificial intelligence. Their progress isn't just fast, it's accelerating. One of the older researchers, Dr. Meretl, spoke up. I've been studying their entertainment media. She pulled up images from human science fiction movies and books. They're already imagining technologies we've only recently developed. Some of their theoretical science even suggests concepts we haven't discovered yet. The room erupted in worried murmurs. Dr. Kelvith waited for quiet before continuing. There's more, he said grimly. We've analyzed their biology. Humans evolved on a high-gravity world with extreme temperature variations and constant natural disasters. Their bodies can heal from incredible injuries. They can survive in almost any climate. And their brains, he paused, their brains seem designed for constant problem-solving. Are you suggesting they're a threat? Someone asked. Not yet, Dr. Kelvith replied carefully. Right now, they're still confined to their solar system, but at their current rate of progress. He let the thought hang in the air. Dr. Meretl stood up. We should also consider their unity potential. Historical data shows that humans quickly unite against common threats, despite their internal conflicts. If they perceived us as a threat. Exactly, Dr. Kelvith nodded. We need to present these findings to the High Command immediately. The Empire needs to understand. These humans are not like other species we've encountered. They're not just another primitive civilization waiting to be conquered. As the meeting ended, the researchers filed out quietly, each lost in thought. They had studied thousands of species across the galaxy, but none quite like humans. For the first time in their careers, these experts in alien civilizations felt something they weren't used to feeling. Worry about what might happen if the Empire made the wrong move. The Great Hall of the Drachnid Empire's High Council glowed with soft purple light from its crystalline ceiling. 50 of the most powerful beings in the galaxy sat around a massive U-shaped table, their attention focused on the hologram floating in the center, a slowly rotating image of Earth. General Vexthor, decorated war hero and leader of the expansion forces, slammed his fist on the table. This is ridiculous. We're talking about a level 3 civilization that hasn't even colonized its own moon yet. My smallest fleet could conquer them in days. Across the table, science advisor Meloria adjusted her viewing lenses calmly. Perhaps you weren't paying attention to the research data, General. These humans are not like our previous conquests. Resources, General Vexthor shouted. Their planet is rich with rare minerals, fresh water, and biological diversity. We cannot ignore such a prize because some scientists are scared of primitives who've barely mastered spaceflight. The room divided quickly. On one side, the military commanders and resource ministers nodded in agreement with the general. On the other, The Science and Intelligence Divisions exchanged worried glances. High Commander Zarkax, leader of the Council, raised his hand for silence. Dr. Kelvith, you led the research team. Share your concerns with the General. Dr. Kelvith stepped forward, his hand shaking slightly as he operated the hologram controls. The image of Earth disappeared, replaced by scenes from human history. Honorable Council, look at how humans react to invasion, he said, showing World War I footage. When a powerful force threatened many human nations, they didn't surrender. Instead, they developed new weapons, new strategies, and new technologies at an unprecedented rate. He switched to more recent images. They've already theorized about many of our technologies in their fiction. They call it science fiction, but much of it is remarkably close to reality. They've imagined ways to fight aliens for over a century. They're mentally prepared for our existence. General Vexthor laughed. Imagination isn't the same as capability. No, Meldoria interrupted, standing up. But their pattern of advancement is unique. When humans face a seemingly impossible challenge, they don't give up, they innovate. In just the last century, they've solved problems that took other species millennia to figure out. The General's face darkened. So what? We still have superior technology. For now, Dr. Kelvith said quietly, but our analysts predict that if we attack, every human on Earth would focus on one goal, defeating us. Their rate of innovation during crisis is exponential. Even if we won the initial battles, we'd be facing new weapons and strategies every day. High Commander Zarkax leaned forward. What exactly are you suggesting might happen? Dr. Kelvith switched the hologram to show various human weapons. They already have nuclear weapons. Their computers are advancing rapidly. Their understanding of physics is growing daily. If we attack, they might develop countermeasures we haven't even imagined. Impossible, General Vexthor shouted. No species has ever developed effective defenses against our technology during an invasion. No species we've encountered evolved on a planet like Earth, Meldoria countered. No species we've studied advances faster when threatened. No species unites so quickly against a common enemy. The debate raged for hours. The expansionists argued for immediate invasion, citing the Empire's unbroken record of conquest. The cautionists warned of unprecedented risks, showing more and more evidence of humanity's unique capabilities. Finally, High Commander Zarkax raised his hand again. We need more information, he declared. Before we make any decision, we will send infiltrators to Earth. We must understand these humans better before we decide their fate. As the council members filed out, the hologram returned to showing Earth, peaceful and blue. None of them realized that while they had been debating, humanity had already detected their first probe ships. And in secret facilities around the world, humans were preparing their own surprises. The Drachnid infiltration team stood in their secret base beneath the streets of Tokyo, looking at their human disguises in the mirror. Thanks to advanced holographic technology, they appeared perfectly human. Agent Kirax, now appearing as a young Asian woman, checked her fake ID one last time. Remember, team leader Daxtel said, adjusting his business suit, we're here to observe and report. Nothing more. He looked like a middle-aged European businessman now, perfect for traveling without attracting attention. Their mission was simple, blend in with humans and gather intelligence. Teams like theirs were scattered across Earth's major cities, New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, and others. After 3 months of preparation, they thought they understood human behavior well enough to pass unnoticed. They were wrong. In their first week, Agent Kirax visited a university's physics department. What she found terrified her. Team leader, she whispered into her hidden communicator, these students, they're discussing theoretical concepts our scientists haven't even considered yet. Explain, Daxtel responded. They're undergraduate students, just learning physics, she said, watching a group of young humans argue over equations on a whiteboard. But they're talking about bending space-time and quantum tunneling like like they're discussing the weather. Their ideas are raw, but the potential. Similar reports came in from other teams. In Silicon Valley, Agent Venri watched children coding artificial intelligence programs in after-school clubs. In Mumbai, Agent Vorac observed engineers developing new ways to clean ocean pollution. Technology that could easily be modified for other purposes. But the most disturbing discovery came from Moscow. Team leader, Agent Pelix reported urgently one night, "They know we're here." Daxtel felt his heart stop. Impossible. Our disguises are perfect. Look at this. Pelix sent a file showing classified human military documents. The humans had been tracking their probe ships for months. They had even captured and reverse-engineered some of their crash drones, but kept it secret. Why haven't they announced our existence? Kirax asked during their emergency meeting, "Why pretend they don't know about us?" Because they're preparing, Daxtel realized. Every nation we've observed has secret projects hidden deep underground. They're developing new technologies, weapons we've never seen before. The Infiltrators watched as humans went about their daily lives, all while their governments worked secretly to prepare for possible invasion. It was a level of coordination and deception none of them had expected from a primitive species. One day, Agent Kirax followed a group of scientists into a supposedly abandoned warehouse in Osaka. What she found inside made her break protocol and send an urgent message directly to the Empire's high command. "The humans aren't just theorizing anymore," she reported. "They've built something in an underground facility, something that shouldn't be possible with their current technology level. They've somehow taken concepts from their science fiction and made them real." Daxtel gathered his team for their final report. "High Command, we need to reassess everything we thought we knew about humans," he transmitted. "They're not just fast learners. They're innovative in ways we don't understand. They see problems differently. They've already detected our presence but chose to keep this knowledge secret while they prepare." He paused, choosing his next words carefully. "Most concerning of all, they seem almost eager for contact. Not because they want peace, but because they want our technology. Every human child grows up watching stories about space travel and alien worlds. They're not afraid of us. They're waiting for us." As the infiltration teams prepared to leave Earth, they left behind more questions than answers. The humans had surprised them at every turn, defying their expectations and predictions. And somewhere in their secret facilities, humanity was getting ready to surprise them even more. Admiral Krelivor stood on the bridge of the Imperial command ship, watching as his invasion fleet assembled at the edge of Earth's solar system. 500 warships, each capable of destroying a small country, moved into formation. The sight usually filled him with pride. Today, it made him uneasy. "Fleet in position, Admiral," his second-in-command reported. "Awaiting your order to proceed." The Admiral nodded, remembering the reports from the infiltration teams. Something about this primitive planet bothered him. But orders were orders. The Empire had decided Earth was too valuable to ignore. "Begin advance toward." He started, but stopped as every screen on the bridge suddenly went dark. When the screens came back on, they showed something impossible: a human face. The woman appeared to be in her 50s, wearing a simple military uniform with no markings. "Greetings, Admiral Krelivor of the Drachnid Empire," she said in perfect Drachnid language. "We've been expecting you." The bridge crew froze. This shouldn't have been possible. Their communications were encrypted with technology that would take most civilizations thousands of years to crack. "How are you doing this?" the Admiral demanded. The woman smiled. "The same way we learned your language, tracked your ships, and studied your technology. We pay attention. Your infiltration teams were good, but they missed something important about humans. We're very good at keeping secrets." The Admiral's scales bristled. "You dare threaten the Empire?" "No threat," she replied calmly. "Just a demonstration. Please direct your attention to coordinates 2-4-7 in your asteroid belt." Despite his better judgment, the Admiral ordered the view screen to show those coordinates. What he saw next made his blood run cold. A small device, clearly of human design, floated near a massive asteroid. It activated with a brief flash of light. The asteroid, large enough to destroy a planet, simply vanished. Not exploded, not broken apart, but converted entirely into energy, with no waste and no radiation. Impossible, someone whispered on the bridge. We discovered this technology 3 months ago, the woman continued. We found it by accident while researching clean energy solutions. Imagine what we might discover if we actually tried to develop weapons. The Admiral found his voice. You expect me to believe? We don't expect you to believe anything, she interrupted. We expect you to think carefully about your next move. Your infiltrators saw our universities, our laboratories, our endless drive to solve problems. Now you've seen one result of that drive. She leaned forward. We're not showing you this because we want war, Admiral. We're showing you this because we want you to make an informed decision. Humanity would survive a war with the Drachnid Empire. Would the Empire survive a war with humanity? On a secondary screen, data started flowing. Detailed scans of the energy conversion, proof that humans had indeed achieved something the Empire's scientists had thought impossible. Your empire has conquered 1,000 worlds, the woman said, but you've never encountered a species like us. We've spent our entire history preparing for this moment through our stories, our science, and our determination to survive. She paused, letting her words sink in. This is not a threat, Admiral. This is a chance to make history. The Drachnid Empire could become the first civilization to recognize humanity as equals without needing to learn the hard way. The screen went dark, then returned to its normal display. The bridge remained silent as the Admiral stared at the coordinates where the asteroid had been. Finally, he turned to his communications officer. Contact High Command. Tell them. He looked out at Earth, barely visible as a blue dot in the distance. Tell them we need to reconsider our approach. For the first time in his long career, Admiral Krelvor realized that the Empire's standard tactics might not be the wisest choice. Sometimes, he thought, true strength lies in knowing when not to fight. In the heart of the Drachnid Empire's Central Intelligence Agency, Director Synthar stared at the holographic display showing Earth's complete environmental data. After the fleet's encounter, the Empire had dedicated its best minds to understand why humans were so different from other species they'd encountered. Play the simulation again, he ordered. The hologram showed Earth's history, continents shifting, volcanoes erupting, ice ages coming and going. Natural disasters that would have wiped out most species appeared with frightening regularity. Sir, Senior Analyst Vorac said, pointing to the display, we've confirmed our theory. Earth isn't just a planet. It's a crucible. Other analysts gathered around as she explained. Most intelligent species evolve on stable worlds with minimal environmental challenges. But humans, she brought up comparison charts. They evolved on a planet that tried to kill them every step of the way. The display showed various human habitats: frozen tundra, scorching deserts, dense jungles, and high mountains. Look at their temperature tolerance, another analyst added. Humans can survive in conditions that would kill most species. They can heal from injuries that would be fatal to others. Their endurance is almost unlimited compared to other races. Director Synthar watched as the simulation showed early humans surviving ice ages, droughts, and natural disasters. But physical adaptation isn't what makes them dangerous, is it? No, sir, Vorac agreed. It's their minds. Earth's harsh conditions didn't just make humans tough. It made them innovative. Every disaster forced them to adapt, to think differently, to solve problems. The display shifted to show human children playing with puzzle toys. Their young are natural problem solvers. They turned everything into a game, a puzzle to be solved. Even their entertainment involves solving problems. And their social structure? The director asked. Unique, another analyst answered. They compete fiercely among themselves, but unite instantly against outside threats. Their nations fight constantly, but they also trade, share knowledge, and cooperate on global projects. Viren brought up footage from human sports competitions. Look at how they treat challenge. They deliberately make games harder just to test themselves. They climb mountains simply because they're there. They set impossible goals just to see if they can achieve them. The director watched as the display showed humans landing on their moon, exploring ocean depths, and venturing into dangerous caves. They're addicted to exploration, he realized. Yes, Viren confirmed. And they pass this trait to each new generation. Their children are taught to question everything, to never accept limitations, to always look for new solutions. Another analyst stepped forward with a report. We've analyzed their fiction. Sir, for centuries, they've been imagining encounters with alien civilizations. They've mentally prepared themselves for every possible scenario, including ways to defeat a technologically superior enemy. Director Scifi sat heavily in his chair. So what you're saying is, Earth isn't just a planet, Viren finished. It's the perfect training ground for creating a species that never stops advancing. The disasters that would have killed other species forced humans to become stronger, smarter, more adaptable. The director looked at the final analysis. Projections of human advancement over the next century. The lines on the graph rose at angles that seemed impossible. Even without our interference, Viren said quietly, they'll probably achieve our level of technology within a century, if we force them to accelerate their development through conflict. She didn't need to finish the thought. Everyone in the room understood the implications. The Empire hadn't just found another primitive species to conquer. They'd discovered something unprecedented, a young civilization that had been forged in the fires of constant adversity, emerging stronger with each challenge. As the director prepared his report for High Command, he knew one thing was certain. The Empire's encounter with humanity would change their civilization forever, one way or another. The Grand Chamber of the Drachnid Empire fell silent as the High Command gathered for their final decision about Earth. 5 decades of successful conquests had made these meetings routine. But today was different. Today, they would do something unprecedented. High Commander Zarkak stood before the assembled leaders, his ceremonial armor gleaming under the crystal lights. Behind him, a massive screen showed the latest images from Earth. My fellow leaders, he began, in our 50,000 years of expansion, we have conquered over 1,000 worlds. We have faced countless civilizations, but today we must acknowledge something new. The room remained silent as he gestured to Admiral Krelvor, who stepped forward to share his fleet's experience. The Admiral's voice shook slightly as he described humanity's warning demonstration. They didn't just threaten us, the Admiral explained. They showed us technology we didn't even think was possible. And they did it almost by accident, while working on energy solutions. General Vexthor, who had once argued strongly for invasion, now stood with a different message. Our latest intelligence suggests the humans have hidden capabilities in at least 12 other scientific fields. They're advancing in ways we can't predict. Director Scifi from Intelligence stepped forward next. We've completed our final analysis. Earth isn't just another world. It's a forge for creating the perfect adaptive species. Every challenge that would destroy other civilizations just makes humans stronger. He played a short video showing human children in a classroom. Look at how they teach their young. They don't just pass on knowledge. They teach them to question everything, to look for new solutions, to never accept limitations. The screen changed to show human achievements, their moon landing, their medical advances, their rapid technological growth. In the time we've been watching them, the director continued, they've solved problems that took us centuries to figure out. And they're accelerating. High Commander Zarkax raised his hand for attention. We face 3 choices. First, we could attack now, before they grow stronger. He paused as murmurs filled the room. But our analysts predict that even if we won, the cost would be devastating. Humans don't surrender. They adapt and fight back harder. Second, we could wait and watch. But every day we wait, they grow more powerful. They've already detected our presence and are preparing defenses we don't understand. So what's the third choice? Someone called out. The High Commander smiled. We do something the Empire has never done before. We initiate peaceful contact. We offer to trade knowledge and resources as equals. Gasps filled the chamber. The Empire had never treated a younger civilization as an equal. Think about it, he continued. Instead of making humanity our enemy, we could make them our allies. Their innovation, combined with our experience. He let the possibility hang in the air. The debate lasted hours, but in the end, the decision was clear. The empire that had conquered 1,000 worlds would try something new. 1 week later, a single Drachnid ship approached Earth openly, broadcasting on all frequencies in human languages. People of Earth, we come seeking friendship and exchange of knowledge. We have watched you grow, seen your potential, and recognized your strength. The Drachnid Empire offers not conquest, but partnership. As the human governments responded positively to this message, the Drachnid leaders felt a mix of relief and curiosity. They had avoided a potentially catastrophic war, but they had also embarked on an uncertain new path. In his private quarters, High Commander Zarkax watched the responses from Earth coming in. He smiled, thinking about how this one decision would change both civilizations forever. Sometimes, he wrote in his personal log, the greatest victory comes not from winning a war, but from having the wisdom to avoid one. Today, we didn't just spare ourselves a devastating conflict. We gained allies who might help us become something greater than we ever imagined.